Young adulthood to middle years. Although growth has slowed down significantly and therefore nutrient demand remains pretty consistent, this life stage can be one of increasing work demands, socializing and, in the early adult years, our first foray into living and cooking independently. Later, we may have families to care for or other people to support, and the demands on our time become more complicated. It can also be a time when we deprioritize our connection to our body and well-being in favor of productivity. At various times and for different reasons, we may find ourselves making food choices that are less nourishing, for example, due to a tight budget, lack of cooking skills, time pressures, stress, inadequate quality sleep and greater access to alcohol or other contributory factors to less nutrition going in, but more energy needed going out. The years of early adulthood can be our first introduction to living independently, moving out of home for university, college, travel or work. All of which can be both liberating and potentially overwhelming, and at these times, healthy eating and home cooking may not be the first priority. For most, it is making the pennies stretch as far as they can and/or socializing. We've all been young and I can certainly remember what it feels like to burn the candle at both ends. Eating well is a life skill that, in times gone by, would be slowly built from childhood, helping to prepare or cook meals. In some cultures, this is happily still the norm, and essentially developing a relationship with and love of good food. However, for various reasons, many children reach young adulthood without having been engaged in meal preparation on a regular basis. So, it can come as quite a shock to be solely responsible for eating a balanced, well-prepared meal 3 times a day. As we know, making sure you get the right balance of macro and micronutrients is also important for long-term health, including our emotional and psychological health, both of which can feel more challenged when demands and responsibility seem comparatively high. At these times, the temptation to choose cheap, fast food over home-cooked food is higher, tapping into our natural urge for instant gratification. When we are busy and stressed, as we will sometimes be, in the course of normal adulthood, we can overlook the impact that food and drink have on our body and mind, and therefore our performance at work or studies. Apart from the impact on long-term health, regularly drinking alcohol beyond the maximum intake of 14 units spread throughout a week can affect mental wellness too. It may make you feel less stressed in the very short term, but it reduces quality sleep and mental focus, ultimately resulting in more stress. Relying on caffeine or energy drinks can be another way of getting through times of stress, or when energy in does not match energy out, but caffeine too has a negative impact on health and well-being if consumed in excess, above 400 milligrams per day. Energy is key at this life stage, and with our busy modern lives, feeling tired can be commonplace. As we progress beyond our young adult years, we will naturally start to notice that we don't bounce back quite so easily. As a 20-something, a late night, overindulgence in food and alcohol or just generally packing a lot in can be recovered from relatively fast. Later, our bodies will start to remind us that we are not invincible after all. Or perhaps we find ourselves challenged by specific health issues, such as hormone imbalances or immunity problems. For many of us, this is when we take more notice of our body's needs, but it really is important at every age. Your incredible body is making and repairing 3.8 million cells every second, as well as generating energy, metabolizing hormones, fighting off exposure to pathogens and building blood cells, among many other essential functions. And at this stage in life, it may be needing to increase all of these to keep up with our busy lifestyles. These processes require nutrients to support energy production. Balancing the energy going into your body with the energy that is going out is your priority. Stress management and supplementation help to replenish lost nutrients through dietary gaps or a lifestyle that includes an excess of caffeine, cigarettes, sugar, alcohol or stress, all of which increase the body's demand for certain nutrients. Health hacks for busy adults. There are many benefits to batch cooking and preparing food in advance, such as saving time and helping you stick to a new eating plan or more mindful diet. It is a reliable way to be organized, plan meals and have the right foods available. Making as much as you can when you do have the time to cook and freezing meals into individual portions is so helpful in avoiding junk or defaulting to a takeaway you don't even want. Work out exactly what you need to buy, make a shopping list and stick to it. Budgeting is a big part of student and early career life, and for many of us later life too. Planning your meals at the end of the week for the week ahead will reduce the temptation to buy foods you don't need and may also help you to cut down on food waste and save money. Beans and pulses are an excellent source of protein for energy and fiber for gut health. Adding ingredients like chickpeas, lentils and tofu to curries, pasta sauces and stir-fries will bulk them out, make them go further and contribute significantly to a balanced diet. Freezing fruit and veg preserves nutrients and, in fact, some frozen vegetables can even give you more of certain nutrients than fresh versions. Frozen peas contain nearly double the amount of calcium of fresh peas. Fresh fruit and veg can start to lose their nutrients as soon as they are picked and over the, often long, journey to our shelves, whereas produce from the freezer section will usually have been frozen as soon as it is picked. Broccoli florets, for instance, are blanched before being frozen, retaining more plant chemicals such as carotenoids than pre-cut fresh veg. It can also be cheaper than fresh and may stop unused food going to waste because you can use the exact amount you want when you want it, saving you money. So don't worry if you often find yourself relying on frozen veg. An ideal breakfast includes a starchy food like oats or wholemeal toast with a protein source like nut butter, yogurt or eggs. This will fill you up and may help avoid feelings of hunger mid-morning. Supplements for early adulthood to middle years. A good quality multi-nutrient, one that has been formulated for your sex. Those formulated for women will often have more iron in them to support monthly menstruation. This should also include vitamin B5, vitamin B6, calcium and magnesium, which all support normal energy production. Vitamin D. Government advice is that all adults should consider taking a daily vitamin D supplement containing 10 mcg of vitamin D per day, especially during the autumn and winter months. It is challenging to get enough vitamin D through the food we eat, and very little vitamin D is produced in the skin in the regions north of 37 degrees latitude during the winter months. You may be able to find this in your multi-nutrient, but if not, take an additional supplement. Omega-3 supplement, preferably in a ratio of 2:1 EPA to DHA. Adaptogenic support. My favorite adaptogenic herb for this life stage is ashwagandha. It has been traditionally used to support our resilience to stress, and more recent scientific studies have shown that a form of ashwagandha known as KSM66 at a dose of 300 mg twice daily can reduce stress and stress-related food cravings within 8 weeks, and significantly improve sleep duration and quality within 10 weeks. Medicinal mushrooms are also helpful, such as cordyceps and reishi, as they also provide antioxidant support.